Hello everyone, I'm 𝗬𝗲𝗰 and today we are going to see if you should buy the Canon 80D at the end of 2020. So, Canon 80D, probably the most used camera on YouTube back in 2016 when it came out. So this camera is already 4 years old, but how does it hold up to today's standards and should you buy it in 2020 or even 2021? Let's see in this video. First of all, let's talk about the design of this camera. It's a DSLR. It looks basically like any other DSLR, and that's not a bad thing at all. I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. If you ever used any other DSLR, you will be very familiar with this layout and this design. It has an amazing grip, your hands fits just perfectly around the grip, and even today some modern mirrorless cameras don't have a grip as comfortable as this one, so that's still a huge plus for DSLR cameras and for the 80D. And once you have the camera in your hand, you have easy access to all the important buttons, so you can access everything with only one hand. Again, design is just classic, it looks like any other DSLR, and that's a good thing. Now let's go to the build quality, and again, this camera is built like a tank. It feels like a brick in your hand. It will survive most falls without any major damages. It's mostly made out of plastic with some rubberized parts, but it's really sturdy plastic, and the body is also weather sealed, so you can go on rain or even snow and this camera will survive it with no problems. So again, build quality very good even by today's standards. It really is amazingly put together camera and it will last you a long time. Now let's go to ease of use, and that's really a huge plus for this camera. It's so easy to use. I mean, everything from design, from ergonomics, from button layout. It has a flip out LCD screen, which was a huge plus in time when this camera came out, and even today some cameras don't have the flip out screen. I really don't know why, but yeah, it still is a huge plus for this camera. And also it has a touch screen, so you can do basically anything with just your finger. Again, some cameras even today don't have this functionality, so it's really amazing to have this on almost 4 years old camera. And I mean, it's not just a touchscreen, the menu system itself is just so well organized, so intuitive, and really anything you do with this camera, it's just so easy to use. I also have the Canon 700D, which is filming this video right now, and I can say the same things about it, so it's also very easy to use. Also has a touchscreen, also has a flip out LCD. So yeah, overall Canon's cameras are really easy to work with and really enjoyable cameras to shoot. Now let's go to the batteries. Canon 80D uses Canon 𝗟𝗶𝗽𝗀 batteries. They are basically in use even today, so if you buy, for example, Canon's R5 mirrorless camera or something like that, they still use batteries like this, and that's also a huge plus for 80D, because that means you can still get brand new batteries for your Canon 80D. You should be able to take around 1000 pictures on one single charge, which even some modern mirrorless cameras can beat. So battery life, again, really good. I've never had a single problem with battery life, even though my batteries are a little bit older. Now let's go to the specs of this camera. So it has an APS-C 24 megapixel sensor, so it's a cropped sensor, and it can record video up to 1080p 60 FPS, so it doesn't have 4K video. And even in 2016 when this camera came out, most other competitors already had 4K videos, so that was a little disappointing about this camera. But if you're not interested in 4K video, like I'm personally not, this camera shoots really nice 1080p video even for today, and especially if you pair it with some good lenses, like for example this Sigma 18-35 that is filming right now. You can get some really amazing looking footages out of this camera. And yes, again, it's not a 4K video, it's not the sharpest video you can get in 2020, but it still looks good. It has those amazing Canon's colors, and one benefit 1080 actually has over 4K is storage. You don't need as much storage if you shoot only 1080 videos. I can film for hours and hours on one 64GB SD card, and also the files are easy to edit. You don't have to have the latest and greatest PC to edit files out of this camera. And if you are talking about video, we can't forget one amazing thing about this camera, and that's autofocus. Even today, Canon's dual pixel autofocus from this camera is one of the best and most stable autofocus systems on market. So you just turn autofocus on and you can be sure you will be in focus all the time. I can't tell you how annoying it was filming videos like this without autofocus, because from a distance like this you really can't see if you are in focus or not, and you really can't focus manually because camera is too far for that. And if I turn on autofocus, it's just horrible, it haunts all the time and I'm really never in focus. So having a reliable autofocus in ATD, it's just so nice and it makes things so much easier. I'm sure I'm 100% in focus all the time. And for the photos, I mean, I don't even have to tell you, it shoots RAW photos in 24 megapixels. The photos look really amazing, and I don't think anyone should complain about photos made with this camera, even in 2020. Okay, so now let's go over some other smaller things that I love about this camera. So it has a built-in Wi-Fi and NFC, so you can very easily send photos from camera to your smartphone, for example, or you can even monitor what camera sees and shoot remotely with your smartphone. So I can just stick the camera on a tripod and control basically everything I need straight from my PC. And also monitor the feed directly from camera. That's so useful if you ask me. Also, this camera has mic input, that's pretty standard on most DSLR cameras, but it also has a headphone jack, so you can monitor your audio directly from the camera. Again, that feature is missing even on some modern cameras, and if you make short films and stuff like that, this monitoring port is really amazing thing to have. So at the end, would I recommend you to buy this camera at the end of 2020? So if you're looking for latest and greatest specs on paper, don't buy this camera. Don't even look at this camera, because even in 2016 this was not the greatest you could get for the money. But if you're a beginner and want an easy to use, reliable camera, this is probably the camera you should get, because still even today it's so enjoyable to use. It can give you amazing results if you pair it with a good lens. Trust me, that's really important. So if you are, for example, doing videos like this on YouTube and you don't care about 4K or stuff like that, this may very well be the camera you should get. It has everything, is easy to use, enjoyable to use, and it can give you really good results. I will definitely recommend this camera even in 2020 if you get it for cheap enough. I personally still really love this camera and I will continue using it for as long as I can. I also have a Canon 700D that is recording this video, and they work really well together. They have the same colors, so I can really easily mix the videos of both cameras. I really like Canon cameras, I really like shooting on Canon cameras, so I'll recommend you this camera if you don't really care about specs and just want something that works. It just works and works well. So yeah, that's it for this video. If you liked it, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you have any questions, write them down in the comments. And yeah, that's it, and I will see you in the next video.